What's going on, everyone? So now that the Lakers have gotten through their first 5 games of the season, I wanted to kind of go over what I believe the Lakers need, because we knew going into the season the Lakers needed a trade. Lakers needed some type of impact. And now that we have a handful of games under our belt, obviously it's only 5 games, so there could be things that get corrected. There could be things that potentially we might need more than others, right? There could be things that kind of rise further to the surface than what we got right now. But through the first 5 games, everything that we kind of talked about needing in the offseason, I still believe we need at this time, right? You look at this team and there's still overlapping, there's still redundancies, particularly with D'Angelo Russell, right? D'Angelo Russell has not been great for one, really needs to start picking that up. 2, he's kind of been phased out. I mean, he has his lowest usage of his career. On top of that, it's just the style of offense in which we're playing, you would think would be great for him because of his ability to shoot efficiently. He's just not doing that right now. Now, he was off to a slow start last season and then ended up finishing historically great. So hopefully he kind of gets back on that track. But we don't need his playmaking and things like that the way that we did like last season, right? Austin Reeves has been so good initiating and kind of running this offense because you don't need Austin Reeves to be this just Chris Paul wheel and deal, getting everything going, right? You just need that guy to initiate the offense, get you in your first set, and then now you're off to the races, right? Talked about it even in the offseason. So now D'Lo doesn't give you the athleticism, doesn't give you the rim pressure, doesn't defend at a high enough level. The only thing you really need him for is his shooting ability. So when he's not shooting the ball well, it becomes a redundancy. I mean, he basically gets phased out entirely, and that's a big problem. And so you still need the athleticism out on the perimeter. You still need the defense. Teams are still torching us defensively out on the perimeter. Now, Jared Vanderbilt could potentially solve a lot of that. A couple things about that. 1, can he stay healthy? And 2, how long does it take for him to kind of get back into Jared Vanderbilt status, Jared Vanderbilt level, right? Because, like, for example, if you can convince D'Lo to buy in on a bench role, well, then now you could slide Reeves to the point, have Vando at the 2 on offense or on defense, right? But, like, on offense, you could just like slide LeBron to the point, but really it's Reeves. Again, you're running, this is the NBA. It's not the YMCA where it's like the point guard has to be the point guard, 2 guard has to be, 5'5", right? No, like Jared Vanderbilt slotted, he's going to be the 2 guard essentially anyway on defense because he's defending usually the point guard or the 2 guard or the small forward out in that perimeter area anyway. So, you can kind of get away with that, keep Rui in the starting lineup. You could do something like that, or maybe you move Rui to the bench, right? That could bolster your offensive production from the bench. The offense on the bench has just been a disaster. I do think Christian Wood will help with a lot of that, potentially, if he can kind of get back to being the Christian Wood we expected him to be when we acquired him. Now you're talking about a guy that can give you 17 a night off the bench. That would be great, right? But I do think at some point, Jared Vanderbilt being injected in the starting unit could go a long way for the Lakers. However, I do think you need to turn D'Lo into an asset that either is like a Bruce Brown or a Colin Sexton, right? Somebody that gives you some athleticism. I'm still incredibly high on Zach LaVine. Still think Zach LaVine is the best option out there on the market, especially the way he's been playing. However, even if it's not like a Zach LaVine, right? Somebody like a Colin Sexton gives you some athleticism, gives you some rim pressure, gives you the same type of offensive production that D'Angelo Russell gives you. He's not as good of a playmaker as D'Lo, but again, you don't really need that in this offense. You just need somebody that can kind of get you in your actions, get you into your sets, which I do believe Sexton can do. I don't like a D'Lo for Sexton trade, however, because I do think it's kind of a lateral move. However, the other thing the Lakers really need is a center. That's not going to change. Didn't change this offseason. Hasn't changed through the first 5 games. I don't see changing through the first 20 games, 50 games, whatever. I don't see that being a change. Jackson Hayes is doing his best backup center impression. And to his credit, he's done a very good job. Like, JJ Redick has made him look serviceable. He has made him look like a competent player out there for the most part. He still has his moments, still hasn't been great the last 2 games, but he's been much better than what we saw him with Darvin Ham last season, where he was essentially unplayable, right? But as much as I like Jackson Hayes, as good as he's been for the Lakers, he's a third big. He's not your primary backup big. Just doesn't make sense for that. You need somebody with some size or at least a better skill set. You need somebody that has some more versatility. Christian Wood is why I think that works, but he's not a real center. But maybe you can get away with it momentarily till you can get like a Walker Kessler or a Valanciunas or something like that. That's where like Sexton comes in. Again, my favorite trades have been either Zach LaVine and Walker Kessler or Colin Sexton and Walker Kessler. I think you can make the argument to the Utah Jazz of like, hey, D'Lo and Sexton give you basically the same production, right? But on top of that, D'Lo's a better playmaker. Yeah, he doesn't give you the athleticism, but you're also not trying to win anything. But the biggest sell is he's an expiring contract. Colin Sexton isn't. So D'Lo gives you that cap flexibility next season, right? So we're taking on Colin Sexton for another year. Now you get kind of like D'Lo but athletic, and then you get a Walker Kessler in the deal. If you can get that, obviously you'd have to give up more. You know, maybe you're giving up like a Jalen Trufino and a first, plus you're removing the protection. I wouldn't give up 2 firsts for Walker Kessler as much as I want Walker Kessler, as badly as I want Walker Kessler. Lakers need more than just Walker Kessler. But if you can basically turn him, say a first, a pick swap, remove the protection, and give up like a Jalen Trufino with D'Angelo Russell and get a Kessler and a Sexton, chef kiss. Now you still have a first, and you still have, Vando, Rui, Max Christie, Austin Reeves, if, that right piece becomes available that's like, oh, wow, we can go get this guy, right? And you still have like Colin Sexton, who would be expiring the following season. So if it doesn't work out, you can kind of maybe look to move him in the offseason or at the trade deadline next year, right? Gives you still some flexibility and gives you some pieces to potentially trade for future, solves your center position, solves your athleticism out on the perimeter, solves your, continued shooting, all of that. I really like that move. So you definitely need just some perimeter help, right? Bruce Brown, another guy that I like. You don't get the shooting from Bruce Brown, but you do get other things. You get better defense and a guy that can defend 1 through 3. Get a guy that would be excellent in this offense because of his ability to, again, apply rim pressure, but also be a slasher and cutter. Can you just imagine him slipping towards the basket and just the type of actions that you could run with him? I think he'd be very effective in this Lakers offense. Again, the shooting is a bit of a concern, but I just think everything else that he provides gives you initiator for the offense, gives you that defensive versatility, gives you that rim pressure. He's a guy that I just think the juice would be worth the squeeze. He also knows he's not worth $22 million. So you're probably clearing $11 million off the books in the process of re-signing Bruce Brown, which he wanted to sign last season. So we were supposed to sign Bruce Brown instead of Gabe Vincent. And then Indiana was like, hey, we'll double what the Lakers are going to give you. And so he went there, which can't blame Bruce Brown for. Like, no one was going to give him $22 million. So if he's willing to come to Lakers, play for a year, and then take that Gabe Vincent style deal, then perfect, right? Now you got that. Now you got him on $11 million a year. You cleared $11 million off your books. Now LeBron can, fudge the books a little more for you so you can go get some more pieces and kind of reshape this thing. Lakers still need 2 pieces at least, in my opinion. I don't think the Lakers are far. And I do think JJ Redick kind of gives you that boost, right? So like before it was like, okay, if you can get like a Jeremy Grant and a Bruce Brown, right? I think you have a chance. I think you're potentially in that conversation. I think now if you could do something like that, you are definitely in the conversation because I think JJ Redick will give you that extra boost, right? So look at JJ as kind of like a third guy, like you just got a third guy type of thing. That's kind of how I feel about JJ's impact and what he can do on this roster. But I still think you need either a 3-and-D wing, again, Cam Johnson, Jeremy Grant, or you need like a Bruce Brown. My problem, too, with Colin Sexton, as much as I do like Colin Sexton, is he's just, you have to stay on top of him about the defense, right? A guy like Bruce Brown, you don't have to worry about, right? Like you don't question his effort on the defensive side. You don't have to worry about him on the defense. He's going to give you 110% on the defense side, possession after possession after possession. Colin Sexton, you really have to get to focus, right? Because he's had seasons where he was worse than D'Angelo Russell and Austin Reeves defensively. As crazy as that might sound, especially with the athleticism that he has. But it's because he doesn't really care at times to play defense. Now, it's a big difference when you're on the Utah Jazz and, your help defender at times is like Lauri Markkanen, right? It's another thing when like you're on the court with like say a Jared Vanderbilt and like an Anthony Davis and you're not the only one playing defense, or Austin Reeves is getting after it defensively too. So now you kind of feel obligated to buy in on the defensive side, right? So I just think that that's probably an approach, especially if you can get a Walker Kessler. Those are my two deals. But again, through 5 games, personally, I do think this Lakers team is better. I definitely think that the way that the Lakers are playing are better. I still think the Lakers are going to be top 5 offense. I still think this Lakers team is going to win 52 games. Still think this Lakers team is going to be a top 4 to 5 seed at worst, if not better. The West doesn't seem to be as good as people thought it was going to be. I was saying that all offseason. I think a lot of these teams got worse. All the teams that I said I thought got worse are all not doing better than the Lakers right now. Obviously, that can change. It's been a handful of games, but I'm comfortable and confident where we're at. We still need the moves, right? Nothing has changed as far as the needs, right? Now, again, as we inch closer towards, game 10, game 20, game so on, right? Things could change, right? Maybe Rui is just so good and is so consistent for you, and maybe he picks it up defensively to where it's like, okay, we really need to turn D'Lo into like a center and whatever, right? Like a point of attack guard, right? A Bruce Brown, maybe it's Bruce Brown and Walker Kessler, right? Or Bruce Brown and Valanciunas. Boom, there you go, right? But there's also the possibility where like maybe it's not even necessarily somebody in the starting unit. Maybe it is bench depth. Right? Maybe you're trying to turn D'Lo and like a Jalen Hood-Schifino into like 2 quality bench pieces where it's like, hey, let's just move Reeves to the point and then bring in Jared Vanderbilt, like I mentioned, and go like Reeves, Vando, Rui, LeBron, and AD, and then let's go get 2 or 3 guys for the bench so we can kind of better upgrade the back end rather than the front end because the front end's fine, right? Maybe that's the possibility, especially if like a guy like a Christian Wood can come in, because you might look at it as like Wood's giving you 17, Reeves giving you 18, LeBron and AD are giving you 60 combined, and then like Jared Vanderbilt shipping in for like 8 or whatever, Rui's giving you like 14, 15. It's like, man, we got enough. We got basically 115 points a game just between the starters and Christian Wood. We just need some 2-way players off the bench or something, right? Some rotation depth, right? That could be a possibility. But anyway, as always, this is a discussion, and I pass a question on you. Let me know your thoughts and opinions down in the comments below. What do you think? How do you feel? What are your thoughts? Do you think any other needs have arisen, or do you think it's still the same stuff that we were talking about in the offseason? Again, we just got through the first 5 games, so I kind of wanted to see, has anything changed? Is there anything different? Kind of talk about it. But, again, I think all the things we were concerned about in the offseason, we're still concerned about, and we're 5 games in. It's 5 games, so, take the highs with the highs, let cooler heads prevail. No need to like panic mode. Oh, Lakers got to sell the farm. We got to keep winning. As long as we keep winning, then the pressure's off. Because the more we win, right, now we're coming and negotiating from a place of like, hey, we would like to have this, but we don't need it, right? Rather than like, hey, through 20 games, we're 5-15. It's like, hey, like, we would love to have this. And the teams are like, no, you need to have this, right? There's a big difference there. Teams are going to try to fleece the Lakers regardless because it's the Lakers. But no, it's one thing to come from an approach of like, hey, we really need this. What do you need? To like, hey, we would love to have this, but not at the price you want, right? we're the 3 seed. You know, we're 15-5 through the first 20 games. Like, what do you want to do? That kind of thing. But again, how you feel, whatever your thoughts are, let me know down in the comments below. That being said, if you haven't liked this video, hit that like button. Helps me a lot. So we enjoy these types of videos, and I truly appreciate it. Not subscribe to the channel, hit that subscribe button, turn on the bell notifications. Appreciate y'all. See you in the next one. Thank you.